These are the quiz correction videos for Algebra 2 quiz number 22, May 1st, 2015. The quiz was out of 66 points. Factor completely. The GCF in this problem is 7. Remember, you can distribute answer to check your answer. Question number 2, this was on the last quiz. For which discriminant is the graph possible? Normally we talked about the discriminant to be b squared minus 4ac. If it's equal to 0 like this problem, there's only going to be one real solution. If it's less than 0, this means it has two complex solutions, which means it doesn't touch the x-axis. And the answer is C because if it's greater than 0, it'll have two real solutions. And you'll notice that this graph crosses the x-axis in two places. Question number 3, how to solve this quadratic. So you could add 15 both sides and do x squared minus 6x plus 15 equals 0 and use your quadratic formula. I'll solve it by completing the square root method, take the square root. You'll get x equals 3 plus or minus I rad 6. That'll be choice B. Question number 4, this was on your previous quiz. 4 minus 2i squared means you have two of those binomials. You can use your box to multiply. Remember, one of the big ideas is that I squared here is equal to negative 1, so that'll become 4 times negative 1. It's right here as well. Negative 4, and then 12 minus 4 equals 12. 12 minus 16i, choice B. Question number 5, which function represents the graph at the right? So notice here I cross here at x equals 2 and x equals 4. Well, if you go backwards, this is intercept form of quadratics. You have quantity x minus 2, quantity x minus 4. Notice your a value, there's nothing there, therefore it's a and opens up. Question number 64 is a difference of squares. If you were trying to factor this one, something like 64x squared plus 0x minus 25, and try to use your x box, you'll get some very large values. 64 times negative 25, then your b value is 0. So I normally don't teach shortcuts, but this is a problem for different squares. When you have the minus there, and you can take the square root of both of those. Square root of 64x squared is just 8x. And then you take the square root of 25 is 5. Because it's quiz number 22, question number 7. Notice how this is written in standard form. I'm going to write that plus sign. Plus 5 is minus 5, and you'll notice that your h is negative 5 and your k value is 2. So negative 5, 2 is your center. What is the equation of the line that is tangent to the circle? X squared plus y squared equals 53 at the point 7, 2. The first thing I'm going to do is recognize that my center is 0, 0. The other point they gave me is 7, 2, so I need to find the slope between these two. I get the slope to be 2 over 7. That is the slope of my radius. Now I need to find the slope of my tangent, which is perpendicular, which means I need to take the negative reciprocal. That'll give us negative 7 halves. Once I have negative 7 halves and the order pair 7, 2, substitute that in. I'll distribute. I'm going to add 2. This 2 I'm going to change to be 4 over 2. 49 over 2 plus 4 over 2 gives me 53 over 2. Y equals negative 7 halves plus 53 over 2. Question number 9, I'm asking you to map the graphs. Notice here there's no pluses or minuses, therefore it has a center at the origin. So this would be matching to A. This graph has a center of 3, 0. That would be choice B. You can always write these all in standard form. X minus h, y plus 0 squared. Y minus k equals r squared. Notice your k is just 0 there. And this would be a negative 3, 0. C. Question number 10, simplify with no negative exponents. So notice how it's a negative 1 times 6 to the negative 1 power. The 6 to the negative 1 power just simply means move this 6 to the denominator, take off the negative sign, and that negative 1 is kind of like a negative 1/6. So D is your answer. Question number 11. write with no negative exponents. I have 6r to the third over 6r to the second. You can use subtraction if you want, same base. Subtract the exponents. 3 minus 2 is just 1, so that would be b. You can also write this expression out 3 times. In the bottom denominator twice. And you'll notice you can just cancel there. Number 12, simplify with no negative exponents. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute here because I have a power. I can multiply that to each of my exponents. This would be x to the 15, y to the negative 15. Anytime I have a negative exponent, I'm going to switch places. And when you switch places, make sure to take off the negative sign. And then here, multiplying the same base at exponents, 15 plus 3 is 18, 15 plus 2 is 17. D is your answer. Question number 16, I made extra credit. You have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, which means you need to factor by grouping. So I put here, though, the reason why I made extra credit is because the first 2 terms don't have any greatest common factor. So 6x minus 6 and negative a and a positive ax. GCF is 6 here. Here, this one's a little bit confusing. How do you get it to be x minus 1? So what I did is you can either have ax come out first and then minus a, or I just decided to factor out an a, which leaves me with negative 1 plus x, and then you can just change the order. Commutative property of addition. Notice how my x minus 1s are the same, and you can factor that out again. So x minus 1 times quantity 6 plus a. Choice E. Question number 13. You have 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, which means you're going to factor by grouping. GCF of the first 2 is 3x squared minus 5, and you're left with your GCF is x squared. And the second 2, your GCF is a 3. Notice how these are the same. Go, should have been, minus 5. And then you're left with x squared plus 3. That would be choice B. Question number 14, factor completely. Notice you have a difference of cubes. So your a value is 5y and b value is 1. Here's your equation, a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. And you'll just substitute it into your a and b's. Be careful here, your a value squared, 5y squared is 25y squared. B is your answer. Question number 15, solve for x. If you move everything to one side, you want your leading coefficient to be positive, is easier. So move everything to the right, to the left. Notice I have a GCF of an x. We can factor there. Then zero product rule, set each of those equal to 0 and get 0, negative 5, and 2. Choice C. Question number 16. Which value is not a solution of x to the 4th minus x squared minus 54? So the first thing you're going to do is take this and go ahead and factor that. Your a, b, and c, a times c, and this is your b values. 2 numbers are 6 and negative 9. Here's my positive 6x squared and negative 9x squared. Remember, these 2 terms are splitting middle 1. So you just take out your GCF of there, and you'll have x squared plus 6 and x squared minus 9. I notice this is a difference of squares. Zero product rule to solve. X equals 3, x equals negative 3. Subtract 6. Take the square root. You're going to get negative square root of negative 6, which is I equals 6. Don't forget plus and minus. And I noticed that the one that's these are all checks. They are solutions. The only one that's not there a solution is this one H. Question number 16, free response question. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the negative exponent to each of those. Even to that 3, it has an invisible exponent of 1, so that would be negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Same thing over here, just distribute. And then anywhere I see a negative exponent, I'm going to go ahead and move to the other side of the fraction line. So it's going down, that becomes 3 to the 2nd power. And 3 to the 2nd power, we're going to take off the negative, becomes 9. That's n. This is n to the 20th, and same base, add the exponents. Question number 8. This one was worth 8 points. Here's the scoring rubric for that one. 2 points for labeling your center, 2 points for your x-intercepts, 2 points for y-intercept, and 2 points for a graph, knowing that's a circle. So a lot of you guys tried to find just your endpoints right there. Those are good points to have, but I was looking for the intercepts. So I put it into standard form. You recognize that x minus 5. It's recording. Mr. Bartlett says hi to everybody. And plus y plus 3 squared equals 81. I put in standard form to find my x-intercepts by making y equals 0. Here are my x-intercepts. Find your y-intercepts by making x equal to 0, and that's the reason why we need standard form. Pardon this interruption as I quickly answer his question. Could you do third period tomorrow? Or prep period tomorrow? Yeah. Cool. Thanks. Notice how on your x-intercept, let's see if I can get it in there, 5 plus, the plus sign goes towards the right, and remember the minus sign goes towards the left. This is one right there. And then your y-intercept, same thing. Plus is on top, minus on the bottom. Question number 18, you had to factor that one first. So remember, your A value is 1, B value is negative 1, and your C value is negative 12. And then I'm just taking these values. A times C is negative 12, your B value is negative 1, my two numbers are 3 and negative 4. Remember, you're taking your 3 and your negative 4 and placing them here. Your first term, x to the 4th, placing here, last term, negative 12 there, and you're taking out the greatest common factor. Notice how this says solve, not just factor, so once you have these, notice you have a difference of squares. And then you're doing your zero product rule. A lot of students are missing this one right here, so I subtract 3. You get x squared equals negative 3. You're taking the square root of an equation, so you're going to have plus or minus negative 1 times 3, and the square root of negative 1 is I, so you'll get plus or minus I rad 3. You guys got deducted points for not having the plus or minus. Question number 9 asks you to graph. Make sure you label all your intercepts and vertices. This one I only made out 4 points because I felt it was a review. 1 point for the graph and knowing it's a quadratic and opens up. 1 point for your x-intercepts, 1 point for your y-intercept, and 1 point for your vertex. So you'll recognize it's in standard form. So your C value is your y-intercept, negative 9. If you didn't know that, you could just make x equal to 0. Just my work right here. To find your x-intercepts, you just make y equal to 0. Here you can, I solved it by the square root. I'm sorry, zero product rule, factored in zero product rule, get x equals 3 and negative 3. Those are my x-intercepts here. Or you could have added 9 to the square root, you have plus or minus 3. Question number 20. This is a review question. Hopefully you recognize that the function is linear, just has a power of 1, graphing it. Since slope-intercept form, your y-intercept is negative 4. Here, the reason why you can't have a slope of rise 3 up 1 and then try to find where it crosses the x-axis, just make y equal to 0. F of x, fancy way of saying y. Make y equal to 0, and just solve for x. 4 divided by 3, x equals 4/3. Your x-intercept, 1 point, 1 point for y-intercept, 1 point for knowing that it was positive slope, and 1 point for knowing your graph is linear. Question number 21. Find the equation of a line that contains 3, negative 5, and is perpendicular to y equals 2x minus 7. So for my slope here in slope-intercept form is 2, you can just take the perpendicular slope. So, I'm sorry, negative reciprocal, which is negative 1/2. So if you got that, I gave you 2 points. Now you have a point, 3, negative 5, and you have the slope. You can just put it into point slope form. There's my m value, negative 1/2, my x value of 3, negative 5, and this is my equation in point slope. Notice how it says find the equation, and notice how it doesn't tell you any form. And if you need to, if something's had it, it'll also in slope-intercept form. Hope these corrections were helpful for you.